defeat in Class A is defending champion Cambridge. Tom Hanneman has more on the Blue Jackets.
Season's greetings from Cambridge, Minnesota, home of the state's winningest high school football team. There was definitely a holiday atmosphere at the Cambridge football practice today. But other than a bit of sledding, things went on pretty much as normal here. As normal as they could during a snowstorm. It seems football is the only thing on the Blue Jackets' minds right now. And with good reason. Cambridge has won 24 straight games, including last year's Class A championship. This team has averaged 43 points a game, while allowing less than 5. Cambridge even scheduled 4 games against AA teams this year, and won them all. Despite their success, the Blue Jackets wouldn't dream of sitting on their laurels.
You get worried that you might get a big head and everything, but you just got to come out and be hungry every game. We know that we still have to work hard and go out there with the attitude that we have to play our best game to win every game.
The Blue Jackets' big concern right now is their Friday night game with Fergus Falls. A win there would send them back to the Dome for the Class A championship. Winning can make everything fun, even practice. And according to their coach, today's wintry workout may give Cambridge an advantage.
It was snowing here, but not up in Fergus, so we had a great opportunity today to work out in the snow, and they didn't, and we may have snow on Friday night, so that's the way we looked at it, and the kids really had a good time out here.
Football purists have always been critical of the Metrodome, but surprisingly, not one Cambridge player was complaining of the prospect of playing the game indoors. With photographer Dave Halpern, Tom Hanneman, WCCO Television Sports, somewhere near the Arctic Circle.
You know, there's things specifically that I remember about all 3 of them. Coach Larson handing out gum before the game. That was an icebreaker. Walking in and getting my socks from Coach Carlson and slapping them in your hand and kind of smirking at you on the side, you know, really kind of got you ready. And then with Coach Allen and myself, after we did the warm-up throwing drill, we'd go and do punting, and he'd always throw me a 20-yard pass. So, you know, those things are the things that I remember the most, and about the coaches and the phenomenal job that they did.
I think what I appreciate most about the season, even more than being a state champion, was just being around the four coaches and their character. Mark Solberg worked mostly with the scout team, and humble guy, you know, got those guys excited, and he was excited for that role. Coach Allen, a good guy, tough guy, but a funny guy. Coach Carlson, guys just loved him. He was just a fun guy, you know, Papa Bear type of guy. And then, of course, Coach Larson. And he knew how to push guys, and he knew what a teenage boy could do. And he made us play like men.
He also knew how to set up a team for success, because repetition and knowing your fundamentals will get you through just about anything.
Well, I think it's got to be the best coaching staff ever assembled in the state of Minnesota. Coach Larson, exceptionally well versed in football, disciplined, what a role model to thousands of people. And then you take Coach Carlson. He made you feel good about being a Blue Jacket. And he used to talk about offensive line pride. He made those linemen feel as if they walked on water. And then Coach Allen, what a gentleman. 3 of the greatest coaches ever in the state of Minnesota and probably the nation.
So, you know, to be able to play a sport that your dad played and for the coach that your dad played for, just a special, and, you know, to be a state champion. You know, in the way we played, I don't think we had any unsportsmanlike conduct penalties. There's no showboating. You know, when we got scored a touchdown, you handed it to the ref. I mean, we didn't get big heads. I mean, we practiced 3 hours every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, regardless of who we played. And that takes dedication. And yeah, we didn't have any letdowns that year. We didn't have
a couple other things that really stick out is the relationship that we all had with each other. I spoke earlier about how sound we were, and we could always count on the guy behind us, the guy in front of us, to do their job. And, it did get tough that state championship game when they closed the gap to 1 touchdown, but you go back following what our rules and routines were, and, it paid off when Jeremy intercepted that pass and returned it for a touchdown. And, that was probably the most stressful 5 minutes of football that we had in 2 years. But again, that those relationships that we built, from going to breakfast before games to going out to a friend's house, every single Friday before the games, practice, the long practices, you're bound to build those relationships not only with your colleague or your teammates, but the coaches as well.
They worked hard, exceptionally hard in the weight room. It was impressive, the number of kids lifting weights. Back in the day, we used to have the 250 club and the 300 club, and kids would work on cleans and squats and bench press. Kids were exceptionally disciplined.
I'll tell you, that was the '87 team is perhaps the best football team that I've ever been associated with in all the years that I coached football. We had a great line, we had great backs, we had great defense. In the 10 games leading up to the state tournament, we had scored 472 points. Our opponents scored 61. And then in the 3 games in the state playoffs, we outscored our opponents 114 to 26. Those kind of stats really reflect the power that we had as an offensive team. It was just the kind of a football team that coaches dream about. So
there was just a lot of great dedicated kids that were great also in games, but also in practice. It was a joy walking out to practice every day. And of course, we had the Oxlip connection, which was pretty tough there with Nystrom and Wick and Cunningham, I'll tell you. And then Wade did a great job for the second year. He come in as a sophomore. The offense was outstanding, but the defense was equally as good. No, it was an outstanding team, and I was just happy to be part of it. I think, and a lot of people told me this too, and a lot of great coaches, even George Thole from Stillwater thought we were probably the best football team in the state that year, A or AA, or any class. Not only did we have an outstanding football team, we had outstanding coaches, and I was blessed with some of the finest assistant coaches we have with Jerry and Mark and Dean and Lowell and Bob Salo. And so we had a great bunch of coaches in which I was blessed with for so many years. Old Jerry here was with me about 30 years, and Dino was more than that. So, no, that's all.